Welcome back to another Titan interview, this time taking a look into the Divinity League. And it's playoff time in the Divinity League. I believe the last people I interviewed was Foolsery before their quarterfinal matchup. And now we're taking a look at two players from Conduit Esports Flux. That's jungler AminArc and support TrashPanda. TrashPanda on the right side, or I guess it'll be different when the video's edited up. But you guys can introduce yourselves. How are you guys doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. I'm interested, excited to get your guys, kind of pick your brains a little bit ahead of what's happening on Monday there for Divinity. We'll start though, we'll go a little bit back to kind of the whole process of creating these three Conduit teams here in Divinity. There was Kraken, there's Retribution, then there's you guys in Flux. How did that whole process happen? Was there like a pool of 15 players to choose from, or did you guys have any sort of contact with the other teams? How did you guys land on the 5 players you have on Flux?
So I'll start off with me because he joined afterwards, but yes. I got contacted by Trucks, who ended up going to Obsidian Vice, but he pulled me in and was like, hey, I got a team, I need a jungler. You were doing well in these tryouts that we were both in a while ago. I want to see if you were a good fit for the team. So I tried out, did well, and they were like, yeah, you fit well. We'll go ahead and move on with that. And then we played our first 2 weeks, and Trucks was going to be gone for the next weekend, and we needed a sub. And then that's where TrashPanda came in.
And I got a message from Nation and Try, who were working with the team, and said, hey, we need a support for this week. And I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, I can do that. Let me get the games in for it. And then as the stuff went along, it was more of like a, hey, there's a chance it's more than just a 1 week thing. So be ready just in case. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, as for like the org side of it, we ran tryouts back in like December, and we kind of had an idea for the Retribution roster, and Kraken came together naturally through Merciful Crow, the captain of that team. She had an idea of who she wanted on the team, and then Flux was just thrown together as this ragtag group of individuals that thought that they would play well together. And then somewhere along the line, I ended up getting taken out of the retirement home and thrown into the support role for this team.
Nice. So you guys,
I'm ready for your season.
You guys started the season 0-2, and you had 2 back-to-back 0-2 losses. I had an interview back on the 10th of February, or at least that's when it was recorded, with Retribution's Darazin, who is going to be the mid laner you guys will be up against in your next matchup. And I asked him about you guys, well, more so the other Conduit teams specifically. And I asked him, do you think that Retribution is the best Conduit team? And he said, well, Flux, they're struggling right now, but I know that they have potential to be a contender in Divinity. And I know they're just kind of this was his way of saying it, one Rubik's Cube turn away from turning it on. Did that sort of happen in the middle of the season there, where you guys started to get some wins? Was it just one shift? Was it adding you, TrashPanda, to the roster? What happened to kind of pick up the season for you guys?
To put it bluntly, yes. I mean, I came in and things were going well. I was talking a lot. I think I said, I'm pretty sure after like the second game I was playing with you guys, I'm like, hey, if I'm talking too much, just tell me to shut up. And you guys are like, no, we actually like it when you talk as much as you do. And so coming in, definitely, I mean, we've had a good record in, I don't like the league scrim bucks, but like we've been doing really well in scrims, and we've been doing really well. I mean, regular season, just got a 3-1 in quarterfinals too. So it's just been, everything's been going well at this point. I don't want to get my confidence going up too much in this series, because I think Retribution is also a really good team too.
I would say not so much one turn away. I'd say we'd still had like maybe about half the cube to go, but we've started getting, I think we're at the point where it's like we've got that last turn, and when we get that last turn, I think it's over for whoever's on the other side of the rift. So
I like that. Okay, so you got more gas in the tank. You guys got more to develop. I like that. So you did improve.
I do actually do. I'm not
gonna
lie.
There's an extra ceiling there. I like that. So I'll ask you, AminArc, talking a little bit more about kind of the players and your styles. You've had games where you've gone crazy on carries. Sometimes you're taking more of that supportive role, playing the Skarners and the supportive types of junglers. What kind of suits you better, and when do you decide, okay, it's time for me to put the carry pants on, it's time for me to maybe let Tortuga take the reins there as the hyper carry? Like what is that thought process like for you?
So obviously it comes down to scouting, but it more so comes from where or what games I think, okay, I can play more of a give me the gold, give me the income, give me all the resources I need for us to get to their nexus. Or I see it where, okay, Tortuga is going to be the one to win this one, or Sox is going to be the one to dominate this lane. And that's when I'll decide if I'm playing a tank or a CC bot of some sort to get us to the end of the game. So sometimes it's not always the right pick, though.
Well, okay, I mean, that's interesting. Yeah, so you kind of just assess it there. Your opponent, bunch of different factors. I'll ask you now, TrashPanda, playing with Tortuga, who's had a lot of pop-off performances for you guys. You're a lot very present in the comms. You've mentioned that just a couple minutes before. What's it like playing with a player like Tortuga? How have you guys kind of built your chemistry? What's that dynamic like?
He gives me heart attacks most of the times that I play with him, but other than that, he's I told him and Sox, hell, I mean, we have 4 guys on this team that could be QB1 in a game if we need it, and I'll just sit there as their left tackle, their center, whatever they need to make sure that they are in a position where they're enabled. I've always told them, hey, I'll get you a position to carry as long as you can carry me back. Like, it's a mutual understanding between them and myself that I'll set you guys up for it. Just be ready to catch it. So, I mean, there's a clip going around from our series on Monday where I say play fast, and he's like, I'm like play fast, we can dive. We had Elder at that point. It was 47 minutes in the game. He's playing Trist. He just jumps under T2 bot lane and tries to kills a Leona. And
no, not like that.
I say it, and I said no, not like that. As soon as he jumps in, I mean, he gets the kill and we win the game. Or maybe it was game 3. We gets a kill and wins the game. But like, it's the fact that I'm just like, hey, do this, and then he immediately just like, it needs a backpack with a leash on it that I can pull him back at any point. So that's playing with Tort in a nutshell.
It feels like there's a lot of support players who would relate to exactly what you just said, especially if they're just playing solo queue and they're playing with, their AD carry. It's just like, come on, man. You're popping off. You got the goal, but just relax a couple times or just think before you do something. So I think that's pretty understandable, and that's some good insight there. We'll talk about now your quarterfinal matchup against Imperial Gaming. How did you guys feel coming off the regular season, going into that matchup? What was your mindset going in, and then coming off the 3-1 win? What did you think about it in hindsight?
I think we felt really confident going into it. We felt like we matched up really well against them. And the thing that we were scared of the most is to put it bluntly again, they just play weird picks. Like, there's some weird stuff that came out. Like, we were like, okay, there's a chance that any AD carry they pick can go mid instead of bot lane. The top laner plays Vayne. Like, it's just stuff like that where it's like we don't know what to expect going into it. Like Vayne Tryndamere, or like 2 of Noble's most notorious picks this entire season.
They I don't want to say they play cheesy. If they play cheesy, it's more like it's like French cheese. It's good cheese. So whenever they pick those champs, they do pilot them very, very well, and they have gotten results from them. But we just had to make sure that we could deal with it and still come out on top. There was a game 2, they definitely rolled over us with their with a couple of their picks. So can't say we had it figured out. So
your guys' series have actually, because the regular season's best of 3s, now you're into best of 5s. You guys have never went the distance. it's been 2-0 win for you guys, 2-0 loss for you guys, 3-1 playoff win. Is this just coincidence, or is there a reason why your series are just 2-0s all over the place?
I would say that in all of our games, it's either we're having a really good night or it's a really bad night. We haven't had any of the games where it's been. I mean, I will say our playoff matches, those were really good matches. Like we competed really well against them. They competed really well against us. It just happened that the fourth game was the last game. But in all of our other matches, there was something that we did missed in like our scouting, or there was a few, just a handful of bad plays that just ruined the series for us. But whenever it's either all or nothing, it seems for us.
Yeah, all gas, no brakes is pretty much the way that it goes, and we could be slamming our head against the brick wall, or we could be, cruising down the highway perfectly fine. It just depends on the evening and how well we adapt going into it.
So you guys are against now Conduit Esports Retribution. We got that Conduit Civil War in the semifinals. What's your assessment of the team just in general, and has it changed at all after taking down Foolsary in that 5-game series? And Foolsary, reminder, 7-0 in the regular season. I think on paper, obviously, a lot of people, probably everyone, thought Foolsary was going to come out on top. Has your mindset when it comes to Conduit Esports Retribution shifted at all after that win?
I will say that when we played Foolsary, we didn't have Panda with us, so it might have gone a little bit differently. But
true.
Overall,
well, we may never know.
Yeah, we'll never know. Retribution, they've got definitely some strong players. I'd say in the bot lane, Draconical, he's a really, really strong support, and I think that had a big influence on that bot lane matchup. And then Derizen had a pop-off week last week, and he's even said it himself. He doesn't know why he got rated so highly. He doesn't know why his stocks went up. But
he's just humble.
I still think that they all have something that we need to be careful about, or else they will beat us. So
yeah, I think with the Draconical move, they've leveled up as well, and I mean they're also very close to that last turn of the Rubik's Cube of figuring it out. It's just between the two teams, it's just who can figure out those last couple moves to get it solved before the other team. I think we have a pretty good read on them. I'm not going to give a series score. I think we have a good chance to win. If they win, I won't be like overly disappointed, because I know that they're a really good team, and it's a sister team. You want to win. Like,
yeah,
that's the big thing in all of it, is you want to win. But if they beat us and then they win finals, I'll be okay with it.
Yeah, Conduit's going to finals anyway, so.
There is that silver lining, isn't it? Now let's look at the other side of the bracket. Who do you guys think, if you have any thoughts on this matchup at all? Monkey Supreme, TFF Alstronauts, who do you think is going to the grand final from that semifinal matchup?
I honestly don't know. They're both really, really strong teams. But like there's been times where TFF, they don't look like TFF, and they play like maybe a gold team, but there's also some games where they ran over the other team, made them look like they were gold. So, and then Monkey Supreme, it's just a bunch of all-stars on that team. So,
yeah, both teams. I think they're both really good. It's good. It's going to be a fun matchup as well. I think both series that are happening next week could potentially go to 5 games. I don't want to say that because I would like to keep our streak of, not going the distance, but, still winning alive. But I think that one has a chance to also go 5 games as well. And it'll be really exciting to see the result of that one, too.
Since you gave your thoughts on Retribution, you gave your respects over to them. You mentioned that they're a really good team, that the series could go either way. Of course, you do hope that you're going to win. Now, since it's a civil war, we need some rivalry built up here. I want both of you, send a shot towards the Retribution, whatever you want. If it's a player on the other side, your lane matchup, come on, give us some smoke here. Send one shot towards Retribution.
Oh no, I've been thinking about this. because we are potentially doing a trash talk video for Conduit for Retribution versus Flux. We talked about it. I don't know. Draconical just seems like a KDA player that doesn't know how to engage, so I think I'm going to be all right.
How about you, AminArc?
I've got a lot of respect for Titan Div, but I'll take a shot for Fenbach and say, even though Gab's going to be on a roster with us later, he's not going to have a good time. He's not going to have a good time. Whether it's Fenbach or Chai in the top lane, he's not going to have a good time.
Well, there you have it. Hopefully Retribution watches this interview. They can see that. They can kind of process that before you guys match up. Now that we've kind of finished the interview here, shout-outs that you guys want to give out. Teammates, coaches, family, friends, just before we close out. Who do you want to shout out?
I want to shout out Trucks, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even be playing on this team in the finals. He didn't make it, but he made it in spirit, so.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout-out. Conduit as a whole, and my wife for sitting in the other room during playoff season and constantly being like, "Hey, I gotta go play best of 5 now. Sorry, sorry, I love you. I'll talk to you in a little bit." So she's a trooper and all through this.
Nice. Well, thanks guys so much for taking the time to shed some light on your thought process before your big playoff match.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was AminArc and TrashPanda from Conduit Esports Flux ahead of the Conduit Civil War in the Titan Divinity League versus Conduit Esports Retribution. That happens on Monday, so stay tuned for that. That wraps up this interview. We'll catch you next time for another one. I'm Faris, showcaster here at Titan Esports. I'll see you soon.